Jeannie's RV Adventure.
Wait, what?
Oh, sorry. And Eric's. Hi, YouTube viewers. It's moving day. We are moving from Dead Horse Ranch campground down below Sedona over to Holbrook, Arizona, near the Petrified Forest. And we'll be here for the week. It's the beginning of week 6. We are staying in the Holbrook KOA Petrified Forest. It's a journey. We've discovered there's a little bit of difference between a KOA journey and a KOA holiday. I guess the holidays have a little more upgraded amenities, but the journeys have everything you need. They have showers and laundry rooms and a pool, and this one even had a dog run, which made Dixie very, very happy. She was able to get off the dog leash and run a little bit, and she was very excited. And this moving day was special because we got to meet up with our friends from back in Temecula, Craig and Susie McVeigh, as they were going through the town that we were staying in on their way to their family vacation. And we all met up at Dairy Queen and had some ice cream. And it's so nice to be able to see some familiar faces. We just spent the rest of the evening just relaxing. And the next morning we got up and caught up on our church. And it's so nice that we can still connect with our church family back home and hear Pastor Jim's messages. And then we headed out to view the Petrified Forest. We decided to go to the south gate, I guess, not the one that was off of Highway 40, but the one you go to when you go through Holbrook and do the park backwards. And so we started out at the Rainbow Forest Visitor Center. And they have a lot of nice little exhibits in there. The kids would really enjoy a lot of dinosaur bones and information on dinosaurs and little models of dinosaurs, which I'm not really sure any of the bones were real from what I could make out, but they're cute and the kids would enjoy them. And then there was this nice walk through all the pieces of petrified wood in the back. Now, all these pieces here were just here when they built the visitor center and the trail. They didn't bring any of this in, so this is all just how it ended up. And some of it you can tell really looks like wood, but it's not anymore. It's completely petrified and turned into rock. And the pictures just don't do it justice, but there's me sitting on a big old petrified log. Ha ha. Anyway, the pictures just don't do it justice. The colors are amazing in the wood, and I'm sure in the morning with the dew on them, they probably look even more amazing. But there's like crystals in them. Sometimes you can see it in the pictures, and the all different colors, yellows and purples and reds. And here's our little friend. He was even posing for us. He sat there for a long time, let me get really close and get a really good picture of him. So they must pay him in flies or something to come out there and pose for all the tourists. And we continued on through the park, stopped at the Crystal Forest next. The park's set up really nice. It has stopping points with information and diagrams and nice, easy walks to be able to get out there and view all the specimens. And super quiet and beautiful. The forest is beautiful in its own way, and you can touch all the pieces of rock and or the petrified wood that is along all the trails and the paths. And it explains how long everything's been there and has super good diagrams of all the information. It's just beautiful. One of the real interesting parts is you see the wood and it looks like it's been cut really evenly, but that's just how it breaks because of how heavy it is and the composition of the wood after it petrifies. And here's a piece of wood that was over a river at one time. There's no water there now, but it's just lovely. And here's Eric trying to go past where you're not supposed to go. So I had to get him on film so I could blackmail him if he went any farther. But he didn't. And here we are. These are called the two teepees, which I think you could see why. Here's some petroglyphs. Look at those little creatures. Don't those look like the little aliens that you always see on the alien abduction movies? It seems even back then they were worried about that. Anyway, there's a lot of graffiti, I guess you would call it nowadays, but it's very, very old and very, very interesting how much of it looks alike. There's some super old structures of village life from hundreds of years ago. And here's the development of petrified forest because it took over a bunch more land later. And here we are at the end, the petrified forest. And they have this old car out there right off of Route 66. You can see it. Now we're moving into the painted desert, which is part of the whole drive through the petrified forest. And it's just pretty amazing as well. The pictures just don't do any of this justice, and it's really worth seeing for yourself. We enjoyed it, and it was just lovely. And the next day, we headed out to the meteor crater. We both had driven by this on travels before, and I am almost 100% positive that I went there as a small, younger girl because I can't believe my dad would have passed this up. But it was really, really interesting.
Very dramatic music.
Exciting. Anyway, I guess it's privately owned. The two families that have the land, one that the actual crater was on, and the other family owns the land surrounding it, got together and put this whole facility together because it had so many visitors coming out, and it's still run by them today. And they actually have pieces of the meteor out where you can touch and view, and you can usually buy some in the gift shop. There's Eric. And the crater itself is pretty amazing when you're standing there looking at it. And it's an interesting story. For years, they thought it was created from a volcanic eruption of some kind. And it wasn't until they started doing the atomic testings out in Nevada and saw the difference in the impact craters that made, that the specialists were able to figure out that this was actually meteor and not volcanic. And Eric's pretty sure that his dad worked with and knew the guy that finally figured that out. And here's Eric and I on the edge of the crater. That shows you how big it is. And that teeny little facility down at the bottom. I guess they did movies here and the astronauts trained here. And you used to be able to walk down to the bottom of it. So it's very possible that I did that as a child. And here's me and one of my relatives that I ran into while we were there touring. See how much we look alike? Sorry, I just think I'm so funny all the time. And after we got done at the meteor crater, we headed over to Winslow, Arizona. And of course had to take all the, Winslow, Arizona standing on the corner pictures. So here we are. Famous Eagle song. There's Eric standing on the corner of Winslow, Arizona. And there's me doing the same thing. Anyway, we had fun. And we ate at Relic Road Brewing Company, which was fabulous. So if you ever stop there, check them out, give them high marks. It was a wonderful lunch. And we took a laundry day here and there, and a grocery day, and a post office day, and we actually spent part of the day at Navajo Country Historical Society, which was a very interesting museum. And I thought it would be about Navajo Indians, but it wasn't. It was actually just about the county there and the settlers and everything, which is Navajo County, I guess. So it was a little disappointing for me, but it was still an interesting museum. And we spent another day touring the little town of Holbrook, which I guess was a pretty hardcore town back in the day. We went to the Bucket of Blood Saloon, well, where it used to be. And I guess they used to say that Holbrook was too rough for churches or women. So it was a tough place back in the day. But it was a cute little town, interesting. People were very, very nice. And then I made Eric take me to Geronimo Trading Post just because I remembered the sign from when I was little. And so we went in there and looked around. And we had a nice, quiet date night dinner at Mesa Restaurant, which was a fabulous little Italian restaurant right there in town, and it was good, and we enjoyed it. And that was our last day there in Holbrook, and then the next day we're moving on. So thanks for joining our adventure once again. Until next week.